The death of Joni Lamb has reignited intense public discussion surrounding her husband Doug Weiss, the leadership of Daystar television network, and a growing list of controversies that have followed the ministry over the last several years. What began as criticism surrounding Joni and Doug's relationship has now expanded into wider debates involving family tensions, Daystar leadership disputes, abuse cover-up allegations, and questions about how the network handled internal conflicts after the death of Marcus Lamb. Doug Weiss, a psychologist, author, and speaker known for counseling programs focused on relationships and addiction recovery, married Joni Lamb in 2023, less than 2 years after Marcus Lamb's death from COVID-19 complications. Their marriage immediately drew criticism from some members of the Christian community, who questioned how quickly the relationship developed following Marcus's passing. Supporters defended the marriage, pointing to Joni's own statements claiming Marcus had encouraged her to remarry if he died before her. Joni later described Doug as someone who brought healing and support into her life after a painful period of grief. However, controversy surrounding Doug Weiss intensified after critics began examining the circumstances of his divorce from his previous wife, Lisa Weiss. Some online commentators and religious bloggers accused Doug of ending his prior marriage without what they considered biblically justified grounds, though no legal wrongdoing was alleged. Much of the criticism remained largely confined to online religious discussion circles, until a much larger controversy exploded around Daystar itself in late 2024. At that time, Joni Lamb's son, Jonathan Lamb, and his wife Susie publicly accused Daystar leadership of covering up allegations involving abuse against their young daughter by a family acquaintance identified publicly only as Pete. Jonathan and Susie alleged that concerns raised to network leadership were mishandled and suppressed internally. The accusations created a massive public divide within Christian media circles. Joni Lamb strongly denied the allegations and accused Jonathan and Susie of conducting what she described as a smear campaign after Jonathan was removed from leadership at Daystar. According to Joni's statement at the time, Jonathan had been dismissed following performance-related concerns rather than retaliation. The dispute quickly escalated online, with viewers, pastors, and Christian influencers taking sides. Several major Christian broadcasters and ministry figures eventually pulled their programming from Daystar amid the controversy, increasing pressure on the network and its leadership. Although Doug Weiss was not directly accused in the abuse allegations themselves, critics increasingly connected him to broader concerns about leadership transparency and family conflict within Daystar after he became more publicly involved alongside Joni. Doug had joined Daystar programming after marrying Joni and became a visible co-host on the network's flagship programs. As a result, many viewers began associating him closely with the direction and public image of the ministry. The controversy deepened even further after Joni Lamb's death in May 2026. Following the announcement of her passing, Joni's daughter-in-law Susie Lamb publicly claimed that Jonathan and other family members were allegedly not informed in time to say goodbye before Joni died. According to Susie's emotional social media posts, family members were down the road, but reportedly were not contacted before her death. Those statements immediately fueled another wave of online speculation and criticism surrounding family divisions inside the ministry. At the same time, supporters of Doug Weiss argued that much of the internet discussion had become driven by rumor and emotional reactions rather than verified facts. They pointed out that no criminal charges were filed in connection with the earlier allegations surrounding Daystar leadership. Still, the combination of public family disputes, allegations of internal conflict, and criticism surrounding Doug's past marriage continued to shape public perception. the situation has also reignited older controversies connected to Daystar itself. Over the years, the network faced criticism over anti-vaccine programming during the COVID-19 pandemic, financial scrutiny related to a PPP loan controversy involving a private jet purchase, and lawsuits tied to former employees. While many of those controversies predated Doug Weiss's involvement with Daystar, critics now frequently reference them together as part of a broader discussion about accountability and leadership within the organization. Supporters, however, continue defending both Joni and Doug. Many longtime viewers argue that Joni Lamb dedicated decades of her life to ministry work, helping build Daystar into one of the largest Christian television networks in the world. They also emphasize that Doug Weiss continued supporting Joni publicly during her health struggles leading up to her death.